I know one of the other issues that we get a lot is, as people have certainly, moving very rapidly to the cloud, but everybody kind of has, I would say, their definition of what they consider a cloud application versus something that they want to have, locally hosted. Maybe they just call it a private cloud. Some people, for example, will put their historians, production management, MES in the cloud, but may want to keep all their real-time applications, on-prem. What is Datapark's philosophy as far as, is this something that, can leverage cloud technologies if that's the direction that your customer wants to pursue? Is it something that your customers want to keep on-prem? Is it some sort of a hybrid case? How do you handle that with Datapark?
Yeah, it's always an interesting topic. I think cloud versus on-prem is kind of like Coke versus Pepsi, right, or Ford versus Chevy. Mm-hmm. Some of it's kind of a philosophical preference, but there's certainly some tangible benefits to both. Datapark has been publicly released for 20 years now. The founders of our company actually developed another system back in the early 80s. So as a company, we've got a lot of experience of this, for the kind of the centralized versus distributed infrastructure. Some of our early systems date back to mainframe days. So we've kind of seen this evolution come full circle a few times. And I think, like with any disruptive technology, the right answer is somewhere in the middle. Mm-hmm. So certainly our recommendation is probably more of a hybrid structure, because at the end of the day, what we think is most important is that we deliver the confidence to the end user that they can solve a problem quickly and efficiently, and the performance that's required to do that. In our world, we like to say that our software and tools should keep up with the speed of thought. So as someone's asking questions of the data, the software needs to be able to answer that question right then without having to go get a cup of coffee, whatever it is. Because we know that our brains can only stay focused for so long. So if you get distracted and you start going to get a cup of coffee and now you're talking to somebody else, when you come back, most times you've forgotten what you were even doing. So now you have to take a few minutes to get back into the frame of things. So if we can solve it in one sitting, now we can really achieve long-term success.
Yeah, and why that's so critical is because at one time you always knew where the operator was going to be. The operator was going to be in the control room. Yeah. What we found is these whole hybrid type of situations where operators now are having to do more multitasking, and they're doing more where they're walking the factory floor themselves, especially as we're in this social spacing situation where there's fewer people in the factory. At the same time, some of those operator jobs are now have been moved home, or they've been moved to kind of these, we call them like regional knowledge centers. Yeah. So that's become another issue. Why you got to get them that information when they need it, where they need it, wherever they may be, and knowing the fact that from an attention span perspective, they need it now, and it's not something that they may even refer back to if it was 5 minutes ago. It's something that you got to have it when you need it, and it has to make sure that it can be into something that can be top of mind.
Yeah, and so kind of with that idea of performance at sort of the forefront of our priorities, oftentimes that impacts the infrastructure of the data. So kind of wherever the people are, we're going to need the data that they use most often. Mm-hmm. So that's, I think, where some of these hybrid opportunities make a lot of sense. Because if they are in the factory, maybe some of that data is going to be on-prem. But then some of it that's not used as much, we can offload to more of a, whether a private cloud, a public cloud, mm-hmm. a data center, whatever, just someplace that's centrally managed and has some of the benefits. So I think the answer is ideally somewhere in the middle. And we've tried to create from a software perspective the ability to have a hybrid infrastructure so we can deliver the benefits of the performance, but also the benefits of centralized administration centralized data backups, security, those things. So there's always lots of considerations. As a vendor, we've had to basically create the flexibility to meet our customers' needs. But we're always trying to push what can we do to get the most performance and deliver the value that way.